Welcome everyone to the newest prototype. This is sort of like a sequel to Drinks Down Under, but instead of running a bar, you run a little workshop where you make devices. As you can see, I have a little test area back here. I can move around like in Drinks Down Under, and I can have several different test areas because you will be making several different types of devices and gadgets and weapons. So if you get our first customer in the door, he's gonna come over to the counter and I can receive his order. And he wants a little portable heater that doesn't bother other people. And he likes his temperature at around 20 degrees. So if I turn over to my little workbench over here, I can build a device and I'm going to buy a new device shell. Now this shell is what every device starts with and it doesn't really do anything on its own. If I try to activate it, nothing's going to happen. Now, the first thing to know is how energy works and how energy flows. You can select what type of energy you want through this middle bit over here. That's called the core slot. You can buy cores which provide different types of energies. In this case, since we want a heater, I want thermal energy. And so in this case, I'm going to buy a thermal core. And as soon as I plug that in, we can see that we have positive thermal energy, which means heat. Now, the form that this positive energy gets spread around is set to none at the moment because we don't have an exit point just yet. So if I go ahead and make a wire, like so, I can connect this wire over here and I can attach a discharger to it. Now these chargers determine how the energy they select gets spread around, as mentioned earlier. And so in this case, since I want a heater, I want kind of like an area of effect going on. And so I want a shockwave discharger. And as soon as I plug that in and activate it, we can see a shockwave spreading around the device, which on the top left, you can see that it is increasing my temperature, but since it's just a small shockwave, the temperature goes right back down. Now that's the first thing we want to fix. I don't want my temperature to go back down or else it's not much of a heater. I want my temperature to be sustained. And so I'm going to make a few extra slots over here. I'm going to delete this one and I'm going to make just a couple of extra ones. Reattach my shockwave discharger, and now the first thing I want is for this shockwave to stay instead of just going and dissipating. And so for that we can use a conduit, which forms a loop of any given dual-light signal, allowing the user to sustain its use. Dual-light is the name of the energy in this world. Now if I grab my conduit and put it in the next slot, I now have a shockwave that loops. So if I try to use that, I can now sustain my temperature, as we can see, which is much better now. But it's still not enough. It's sitting at around 4 degrees right now, and this gentleman specified that he likes 20 degrees. And so we need to get that potency up somehow. To do that, we can use an amplifier, which amplifies the potency of a positive dual light signal. If I attach this to the next slot and I modify its settings a bit, I can bring this up to a potency of 20, like so. And straight away, boom, we have a temperature of 20 degrees. Now, this is still not enough to satisfy this client's requests. As we can see, we cannot deliver anything just yet, and that's because he specifies that it doesn't want to bother other people. And if I come closer to this little guy over here, we can see that he gets a little red when I get close by, and that's because the heat is also affecting him. To change that, I can come here to build my device and grab a resonator, which tunes dual light vibrations to a specific frequency, allowing the modification of its targets. If I buy a resonator and I attach it, I can change the settings to now, instead of being self, others, and objects, I can turn off objects, I can turn off others, and I can just have myself as a target. And when I try it, surely enough, the contract goes green and we can give Blaze its device. So I deliver, I get some extra money, and Blaze goes away as a happy customer. I'm very excited about this project. There's a lot of puzzles that you can make. For example, for the bank door, you can blast this open if that's a request by a client. You can blast this open by using force or by cutting off the lock or maybe just turning off the power. There's a lot of possibilities on client requests and how you can solve those requests. And so it's kind of like a puzzle game mixed with a cozy game, which sounds very fun to me. And I hope it sounds just as fun to you guys. Thank you for sticking around. I hope you stick around for the rest of the developments. Let me know if there is any sort of ideas that you have, or if you like this idea, if you don't like this idea, and I will see you on the next one.